Hello everyone. I don't know why that twisted my tongue. I think I want to say everyone while I also want to say hello. But I don't know if this is the intro. Is this the intro? Are we keeping this as the intro? I guess we're keeping this as the intro. Failed intros, my specialty. So, what this video is about is that it will be a team report for the team that I used at the Champions Cup, which was hosted by aDrive and WolfeyVGC this weekend, and you know, I want to share the team because it's a pretty fun team. It's also kind of a doozy, but we'll go over and talk a little bit about it. So overall, I think it was a great initiative, and I think it's a really good way, because one of the things, it's a really good way, I should finish my sentences before moving forward. I think it's a really good way to give people the opportunity to get some experience in best of 3 without having to pay a buttload of money for an in real life tournament that you also have to travel to and that you also need to include at. Instead, you can just sit at home and practice. That's, first of all, that's great. I think that's really spot on initiative, something that I definitely lacked. And huge shout out to how well it actually ran. I was a little bit unfortunate, I'll already say now, I did not finish. I did not finish Saturday off because it got so late in Europe. It was not fun. And I'll already say this team, some matchup it just rolls through, some not at all, and others you actually need to really use your brain to get through. So yes, this is not the team I mean, would I bring 6 Incineroars if I could? I guess I would bring 6 Incineroars if I could, just because I could also micro-asserting a bit, and I basically didn't talk at all yesterday, so you're really in for the tongue twisters today. But yes, I'll go with the team they're brought. And then we can talk a little bit about like what I would change and how it evolved when yada yada yada. So you can always, let's not go well. I made this team together with a good friend of mine, and we both used it in the Champions Cup. I did not practice enough, I'll already say it. I did not practice enough up to it, and it was like a half-baked idea that he had like the idea, and we kind of like tried to finish it up together. And we did it like a week before, and I would not recommend that when you're going to a big tournament. Like, begin it a little bit earlier and practice more than I did. But yeah, this fun idea with, especially the first 2 Pokemon that you see, Alcremie and Gudra. I always said Alcremie. Alcremie and Gudra. And you can see the Alcremie here. Because the fun thing about it is that it can decorate other Pokemon on our team, and that gives a +2 boost to attack and special attack of the Pokemon. And obviously we wanted, you know, Alcremie to live. Alcremie should live, so therefore it has a Barrier Barrier. It basically means that it takes Steel Spikes from, with the spread that I have, from Excadrill, and it also takes them from like Max Duraludon. So that we can at least get 1 hit off, which, you know, quite nice, quite helpful. Because when you have Pokemon like Gudra, let's just like go over to that, because I already basically said what I want to say about it. If we go over to Gudra, Gudra is a Pokemon that has quite, like, Gudra's bulky. It's the simplest thing I can say. Gudra is thick. And this Gudra is thick enough that it can live a Bulldoze plus a max move from Vaporeon. I don't, maybe not Hailstorm, I don't know, I actually didn't do the for Hailstorm. I think many of them actually maybe have Fire Punch. It may be different, but anyway, we gave it a weakness policy. Because again, when you Dynamax Gudra, Gudra basically takes any non-boosted hits, even the max hits, and you get 3+2. And especially when you have a move like Draco Meteor on it, which, you know, obviously it lowers your attack, special attack by 2 stages, and that's kind of, you know, a bummer, but when you have the weak spots, you just go back to neutral, and you have a Creamer that can then boost it up, and then you can have like a huge attack next turn. And it also, obviously you can set up Electric Terrain, could be nice, you know, Yawns, you know, you can Sleep Powder, all that. And it hits my Milotic. That's the big thing, it hits my Milotic. Quite nice. Also hits something like Gyarados, who is quite annoying, and we have Muddy Water, which is useful because especially when you're against Tyranitar, because we don't one-shot Tyranitar, and we wouldn't even with like Focus Blast. It's kind of, Tyranitar's a problem, but at least it means that we can change the weather, so we can get it over to some rain instead, and, you know, kind of do a little bit dirty there, because rain is probably the least used weather. I mean, hail isn't really used either, but at least Ninetales is here and there sometimes. So that's basically just like Gudra being really thick, Can boost yourself with weakness policy, can get boosted by alchemy, can live a lot of hits. And again, alchemy has helping hand. So if you get a weakness policy off and you decorate it once, and then you also click helping hand the next turn, and Groot is still alive, it does a lot of damage. Let's just say it like that. The next two that we originally had. Grimsnarl was not, I'm going to jump around in. Grimsnarl was actually not originally on the team. Originally it was a live pad and it would have Copycat to kind of help Rhinoculus set up a Trick Room. Because you could lead those two and you could max guard Rhinoculus based on Trick Room, and Copycat would, copy the Trick Room. And you'd basically be guaranteed to get Trick Room up. One thing that was kind of that ended up being fun, we'll say Grimsnarl first, was that the team generally, especially Alchemy and Gudra and Conkeldurr for that sake, they need a bulk. It was too frail to really sit their long game. So we actually changed it over to Grimsnarl because we can get Prankster screens. That's quite nice, and we get them for 8 turns. And we still have the fake out the live pad also had. We put on some speedster without speed and Cinerals because that's quite nice to outspeed those guys. And can help Rhinoculus still somewhat set up Trick Room in cases where we need it. And Spirit Break was what we chose in the end because it has, it lowers the special attack by 1. And Grimsnarl is not here to do a lot of damage, it's here to support. And it can still be annoying to special attackers when you get the -1 special attack. And obviously, on the Trick Room, at least if you're not facing a Trick Room team, because that's one thing we'll get back to, it's pretty slow still, so, it can still do some things. And as for Rhinoculus, it lives a Dark Lariat from an Adamant Incineroar, which, quite nice. We ended up putting the Cassette barrier on it because then it can also live a hit from Dragapult, as long as Dragapult is not weakness policy and has already gotten its +2. That's the hard way. And the thing about Rhinoculus is it has good coverage. We were a little bit in the end between Thunder and Energy Ball because obviously Focus Blast you need something to hit Tyranitar. And it doesn't even do that much within, within Sand. But it does something, and if you already have Chipmunk down, or if you just say screw it, we have Conkeldurr on the back, then it's kind of nice still at the end, and it also helps to hit Excadrill obviously with a good chunk more. But in the end, we ended up going with Thunder because Max Psychic still is 2 shots Gastrodon. It was basically Gastrodon that was the whole problem for even considering running Energy Ball. And a lot of Gastrodons, not all of them, but quite a few run Rindo Berry, and then Energy Ball wouldn't get the KO anyway, so it was kind of we ended up going with Thunder for especially Milotics, because Milotic is annoying. I'll always spoil, I don't think I faced a single one, but it's the fault that counts. So that was kind of how these first ones were supposed to work. And obviously we had the Trick Room option, so we obviously wanted something that could help on the Trick Room, and that's, kind of why Conkeldurr went in, because, again, Sand is a little bit annoying, and Conkeldurr hits really hard. It has a massive attack stat. 140 base attack is dumb. And, we gave it a Solvis because this Spirit lives maxed out from Togekiss, as long as it doesn't crit, or it's not boosted by weakness policy, then we live a hit, which is quite nice. I ended up throwing Iron Fist on it just because then it can choose on very physically bulky Milotics, which, is, I see that as being not very, actually just mid-physical bulk Milotic, which, again, Milotic was a thing that was super annoying because the team does not have a direct way of hitting it, so it was a good thing we prefer Pokemon that I never faced. But again, fault that counts, and it just gave us a Trick Room Sweeper that was kind of, Conkeldurr is a good Trick Room Sweeper. Even though we ran Adamant, because this is the thing, and that's actually one of the biggest struggles for this team is actually Trick Room teams. So we have that going. And lastly, we have our big Gudra and Rhinoculus special attackers. We have Conkeldurr that also hits, quite hard, and we want another physical attack, and we also want something that has some speed and something that would also work outside of Trick Room, because obviously Trick Room is not every game. Many games you'd bring the Creamy Gudra and maybe Grimsnarl Conkeldurr, and then you need a last Pokemon. And we ended up going with Durant. It's just, we didn't do any fancy calcs for this, it's just max, basically. Very standard Durand. Durand is just doing Durand things. The nice thing is that it can obviously boost its allies with Iron Head or Stop a Tantrum. It can break up Sun, or yeah, basically break up Sun, break some focus edge with Max Rockfall, all that. So the thing about this team, oops, did I? Oh, okay, good. It basically has 4 Pokemon that can all Dynamax, and that can all each be useful for it. Conkeldurr is probably the one of these 4 that does it the least, and Gudon and Durand being the ones that do it the most. But, as I said, Hard Trick Room, especially in DD Hatterene, this team does not deal with at all. I'll just be very, very frank about it. It doesn't deal with those at all. It's a rough matchup, and we were talking afterwards because it wasn't the best. Like, the idea is quite nice, and if you get the right matchup, and you'll see that because I'll post the first 5 belts that I had. I know I did not win all 5 of them, and okay, actually, I'll spoil my score. So if you don't want to know it and you actually want to watch the battles, or even if you want to watch the battles but you still want to know, I'm going to spoil the result that I got now. So mute if you don't want to hear this. I went 4-3. The problem was my brain just began disconnecting after round 5 because it was like past 10 in the evening and I've been working the whole day, and I was so tired. And the thing about this team is that you can't autopilot it. Like, if you don't have a good matchup, like if you don't have those matchups where Alcrum and Gudra just goes in and like they decorate and click moves, then you really have to like get it into the right position, and it took a lot of mental power, and that just began disappearing. So, you know, I physically dropped after round 7. I mentally dropped after round 5. I think that's how we say it. So, you know, I officially went 4-3. In my brain I went 4-1. Basically, is what I'll say. That was a lot more than 5 seconds. So, you know, I like to ramble. But again, some things that could be changed about the team. I think the weaker point is Reuniclus. It didn't really do what it needed to do, especially because this team does not necessarily function well on the Trick Room, and you don't necessarily always want it up against even faster teams. You will see. I did get Trick Room up at least once, you know, but it was not anything consistent. So, and Reuniclus, it just, at the end of the day, it just ended up lacking in bulk when it came down to that, and didn't really have the best matchups. And it kind of became like a member that was just kind of there. It was just there, and it didn't really do too much overall, and it just... I think that's one of the things that you could change. It could potentially be something like Aditi that you'd put on instead. Because if you don't need Trick Room, then it will give you a Follow Me Pokemon. You could put like Togekiss on, but I don't think we want Togekiss when we already have 2 fairies. So it could be something like DD that can Follow Me, can also helping hand, like kind of redirection, be annoying shenanigans like that to support the team a bit. Can also help support something like Durand, because the big thing that this team needs help with is Trick Room teams. I'll be very honest. Hard Trick Room, not good, because all these Pokemon, barring Reuniclus, are faster at the Trick Room. Or like they become the store once in Trick Room when you're up against a Trick Room team. So, you know, it's a little rough. And Durand is not the best Harry counter when it's together with DD. Let's just say it like that. So no, that's some of the things. I do however, I did make you just check. I made a code for it, so in case you want to try it out on the data, it is quite a fun team. It was a fun team to use, and I'm actually excited to, you know, upload the games, because there wasn't really good ones in between. So, you know, it'll be interesting. And obviously the nice thing, I never mentioned this, Magikarp Reuniclus stops the G-Max Wildfire from Charizard to take effect, so you don't lose the 1/6 health. And Sweetveil, you know, stops Sleep Powder and such, like both for you and your partner Pokemon, so that's also pretty clutch, not gonna lie. And Gudra, of course, also takes, like, Gudra doesn't care about Venusaur. What's a Venusaur to a Gudra, honestly? So that's kind of a few little extra points for the team. So yeah, that's it. I will stop rambling. I've been rambling for 15 minutes. That's not too bad, I'd say. But yeah, keep your eye out. Only one of them. The other one you should not keep out. Keep your eyes out for the first 5 rounds that I'll be uploading. Even though the last one was quite the doozy. Just so that I can say I don't only upload wins, right? Yeah, no. Yeah, you get it. But yeah, with that, if you lasted this long, you know, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, keep it cool, and don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. I guess if you're staying this long, you probably already did, not gonna lie. But yeah, that's it, bye.